The Miami Hurricanes preview video. Guys, it's the I-80 boys coming at you. Not live recorded. That's okay, though. I'm Christian. That guy over there is Chris. Let's get into it, Chris. Let's talk some Miami Hurricanes football. All right?
Let's go.
So, Chris, obviously, I'll start us off here. I'll take the Miami offense. Look, Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes, I mean, they kind of enter a weird season this year, right? I mean, it's a make or break year, right? And they need to prove some of those doubters wrong, right? A lot of the Miami fans are starting to kind of grow, a little weary because of some of the talent he's been able to pull together. But hang in there. I think this is going to be a decent season for you guys. To me, this season starts and ends, on the offensive side of the ball, right? And I mean, this is a team that's going to go only as far as Washington State transfer Cam Ward at the quarterback position is going to take them. Last year, he had almost 3,900 yards and 33 touchdowns. My question for them is, can he pick up where he left off? Different conference, all new schools he's going to be facing up against. What can he do? Right? The run game did lose Henry Parrish, right? He went back to Ole Miss. But they do get back Mark Fletcher and A.J. Allen, who both combined for 900 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. That should be a good 1-2 punch for him in the running back room. The receiver room gets back Xavier Restrepo, who had over 1,000 yards last year and 6 touchdowns. Don't forget about Jacoby George, who had 850 yards and 9 touchdowns last year as well. I like both their tight ends in that, they've got some experienced tight ends as well. Again, I think Cam Ward's going to elevate that passing attack for him. The O-line, should be good as well. I mean, they do have to replace 2 NFL caliber players, but here's the thing. They did bring in Zach Carpenter from Michigan, who I thought was one of the best, transfer offensive linemen in the portal this year. So that is a plus, right? Plus, let's be honest, they've got a lot of depth, and it's Cristobal's specialty. So I trust the offensive side of the ball this year and just going forward. Chris, talk to me about that defense of Miami over there.
Yeah, no, you said it. You hit the nail on the head there. I think, like you said about the offense, they're going to be all right. The good thing about Miami, they return people on this defense. They only gave up 22.8 points per game last year, which is pretty good. I believe that was 45th in the country. Kind of a crazy stat here as I was digging into these guys. Man, they had 34 sacks last season. That was 21st in the nation. Their defense actually was pretty good last year. I mean, they had some up and down games, but their offense, obviously last year struggled a little bit at times. But the big thing here, though, with the Miami defense, Christian, they bring back Ruben Bain Jr., who was a freshman last season. He had 8 sacks. He's coming back. They also added Elijah Alston, who was the top edge rusher in this year's transfer portal. So that's going to be huge for that defense. They also have preseason All-American Francesco Magoya. Now, I don't know if I said that right, but I have heard about this kid. He is really good. He's on the watch list, obviously. So I think Miami's defense is going to be pretty solid this season. I really do. It's Miami, Christian. They recruit well down there. They got 5 stars walking down the street all over the place down in that area. So the only question I have is the secondary a little bit here. The front seven's going to be all right. Few question marks in that secondary. They lost a couple pieces, but we'll see how that plays out here, Christian. Probably get into the prediction here. I can go first here if you pull that up. Awesome. I'm just going to be out there with it. I think Miami's having a good season this year, Christian. And the reason why is obviously because of that defense. And you talked about the one guy on offense, and Cam Ward. I know we're probably going to differ on this first game, and we're going to talk about this more and more as this offseason progresses. But I got to win over Florida. I know this is going to be a really good game. I do. I wish College Game Day was going to be there. They're not. They're going to the A&M Notre Dame game, but this is going to be a big one that weekend as well. So I got to win over Florida. I know it's at the Swamp. I get all that, but give me Miami in that one. We're moving on to A&M here, Florida A&M. That is, that's an easy one. Ball State, not worried about them, or South Florida. So realistically, I see Miami going 4-0 here. Virginia Tech is another team, potential dark horse to win the ACC this year. A lot of people talking about them. I think that's kind of one of those throw-up games, 50-50 games. And then you got Cal on the road, and then you turn around and go at Louisville. I think they lose one of those. And then you turn around, and that's a big game, Christian. We remember back in the 90s, Miami, Florida State. Florida State should be decent this year, lost a lot of pieces. I honestly think they probably lose that one as well. But then you got Duke, Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest. If Miami can win those games, Christian, and then you got to follow up on the road at Syracuse to end the year, I have Miami winning 9 games this season, going 9-3. Like I said, tons of hype this year around Miami and Cristobal. If Cam Ward plays the way that we know he can, I think Miami can potentially be in the ACC title game. They've only made it once before, which is crazy. They've been with the ACC for quite a while now, but they've only made it one time. I think they can get back on track this year.
You know, Chris, I've got them going 11-1. I'm gonna bet the moon on this. I do agree. The more I think about it, I do think that, you know, that Florida game is kind of a wild card there. I know it is at the Swamp, but I still like Miami in that game. Okay. Florida A&M, Ball State, South Florida, Virginia Tech, and yes, they do travel to play at Cal. I think they'll be okay all the way through up there. And then they got to play at Louisville. Now, here's the thing. They get a bye week heading into the game against Louisville. So I like that they get that bye week before they play Louisville. They get to rest up, get reset, you know, after they play Cal, and then they get to kind of look ahead to Louisville, right? Then you play Florida State. I mean, you play Florida State at home. That's the only loss potentially I really see, because then after that you go to play Duke, at Georgia Tech, versus Wake Forest, and at Syracuse. Now, again, you know, just kind of quickly going through there, this Duke team, I don't think they're going to be as good as they were, you know, in years past, which is really just like a 2-year period under Mike Elko. At Georgia Tech, you know, they're still figuring some stuff out there. Wake Forest, again, they're kind of in no man's land out there in the ACC. And then at Syracuse, look, I like Syracuse. I like Fran Brown. I like Kyle McCord. I think they're going to be good. But I think they've got a lot of question marks on the defensive side of the ball. I think Miami, you know, that's right up their alley. They should take care of business, and I think they should have a really good season, 11-1. Very favorable schedule for them, too, by the way.